Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Vibrant. Welcome to the first video of this channel. Um, Essentially, what I want to accomplish with this channel is to gain an understanding of how mixes work and how we can understand things as far as the music world, and to maybe help people that are not savvy with the technicalities of using a DAW or making music in general. So, as I said, my name is Brent. I have been making music since I was about 21. That was about 6-7 years ago. I've been been on the YouTube rabbit hole for a long time. So I just want to consolidate everything and show you what I've learned and essentially feed that back into the world. So today I believe we want to explore what EQ is and understanding what that is. And essentially what we're going to do is we're mainly going to focus on the vocal today, because I don't want to overwhelm everybody with the fundamentals of EQ. But for now, we're going to go through this project here. This is a project my good friend Matic. He works with me very closely, and yeah, we like to make music together. And this was something that we have discussed before, to start a YouTube channel to help educate others in the world and space of audio production, audio mixing, audio engineering, and stuff like that. So so what I have here right now, I'm gonna play a little snippet of what we have here so far. So he had sent me this project, so I don't really know what's going on here. All I know is that I have the task of mixing this entire song. So I'm probably going to be using this song for the next few videos, just to explain to you everything that's going on. So understanding what EQ is essentially, EQ is essentially like when you're in your car and you can affect the bass, you can affect the treble, and then it sounds more boomy, more fundamentally bigger when you're in your car. Essentially what we're doing here is to make sure everything is balanced for that ability to do that, to make it sound good no matter what. So that's essentially what an EQ does. It goes through each frequency of sound, and you can manipulate certain frequencies to either attenuate them or bring them up. And what that will do is essentially give you a better sound overall. Okay, so I see that he already has some compression, some EQ already. So we're gonna go ahead and duplicate that, and we'll go ahead and move this up so we can, not even. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and delete everything here, and we're going to start from scratch here. And let's go ahead and hear more or less what this sounds like with the context of the song.
Yeah. Illmatic. Fantastic. Still at it. And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I recognize the noise. Commit or quit, this life is nothing but blinks. Gotta sit still so you can see it. Been a long time trying to find a way to my spirit, falling a few times.
Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea of what the song, the context is, with the beat already inside, with the vocals being recorded. That is with nothing attached to it. So obviously it doesn't sound professional, because we need to start doing a vocal chain to create that space and put it in the place that it needs to be in the music. So we're gonna go ahead and solo this for now, just so you can understand what's happening here. So we'll start here.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I recognize the noise.
Okay, so a few problems I'm already hearing. There is definitely some noise in the room. There's also some plosives that I'm hearing, so we can fix in another video. But for now, what I'm hearing is that there's like some muffledness in certain frequencies. Once you train your ear more often and you'll hear yourself better, you'll hear that there's certain areas that you will know works and doesn't work. So I'm gonna show you a quick little trick just to show you how that works. And so let me go ahead and we're gonna loop this. I'm going to pull up channel EQ. I'm gonna use stock plugins just so everyone can learn off just the basic stuff. It doesn't have to be a stock plugin. You can use whatever plugin you want. It doesn't have to be this one. I'm just doing it for the purposes of the tutorial. So fuck you. All right. So as you can see, this is the channel EQ already has some different frequency selected. You see these dots, they're already selected in certain areas of the frequency. So the human ear can hear up to 20 down all the way to below 20 hertz, all the way up to 20,000 hertz, 20,000 kilohertz. Sorry. So that is what is the hearing spectrum. So, for example, there's like 5G stuff like that. Obviously, those go way past. That's like freaking, I don't know, gigahertz. I don't know, megahertz. No. Yeah, I'm not sure. Whatever the higher hertz is, but those frequencies we can't hear them because they're out of our range of hearing biologically. So all we have to worry about is what we can hear. So each of these things here, they are basically little nodes that we can use to manipulate the sound. So essentially, this green one, for example, is around the 250 hertz area. We can go ahead and grab it. As you can see, it goes up, turns into a wave. This is bringing it up by volume. Okay, so it's bringing it up. So you can put it in different spots. It doesn't have to be at 250. As you can see, I'm moving it around. You can also bring it down. See, so you can manipulate this however you want. You can also make it smaller. You could also make it super wide. It just depends on the plugin that you have, but this is usually how it works. So what we're gonna do, because I already know that the lower frequencies on a vocal, you don't need anything below 150 hertz. So we're gonna go ahead and put this out. You can double click here if you want and type it in. Whoa, what happened there? Boom. So these dB, 12 dB octave right here for this one in particular. So this is what it's called a high pass filter. So basically it's letting the highs pass through and cutting everything below it. That's kind of like why they say it like that. It sounds confusing because it sounds like you're passing out the highs out, but it's the opposite. So high, pass it, pass the highs, pass the, what I'm saying, whatever, you'll get it. You'll get it. So if you have more questions, just let me know in the comments. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and enable it and disable it so you can hear that there really is no difference. Okay.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I recognize. And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I recognize.
All right. So you know what? There was those plosives, and it did go ahead and remove those sections. So we're going to go ahead and move the cycle here a little closer so we can hear everything better. So as you noticed, hoping you're wearing headphones for this, but the plosives are in the lower frequencies, so it was, you know, popping underneath. So as soon as we put that high pass filter, it took off a little bit of those plosives. So let's continue listening and see. So okay, sorry. So the next thing, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna go ahead and go through each frequency above the 150 and see if there are any problem frequencies that don't sound pleasing to the ear. So the way to do that is what you do is called an EQ sweep. So essentially you're going to go all the way up and you're going to go sweep in a general area of where you want to hear of a section. So you can do it in multiple spots. Obviously don't do it at the same time because you're not going to know which one's which. What you want to do is essentially once you hear that, you want to take it out. It's called reductive EQ. So we're going to go ahead and do that in the lower frequencies, the lower mids. So let's go ahead and hear how that's going to sound. So we'll start in 0, just so we can start hearing it.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I reckon. And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete.
So as you hear, I found 2 spots that I didn't like that much. Found something around the 200 frequencies. It was a little boxy, little. So we're gonna head to play it again so you can hear what I'm talking about.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options.
You hearing that? That is unwanted, and it'll clean up the vocals as soon as you duck that out. So we don't want to do too much because if you do too much, let me show you exactly what happens.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check.
So you can see it completely thinned out the vocals complete. We don't want that. We want it to be subtle enough that it takes it out. So you don't want to go more than, I want to say more than 6. But sweet spot is 3 and 4, around there. So, and we want to make sure it's a nice little broad area. That way it smooths out the whole vocal. So that's what we're doing now. So let's go ahead and look at the next frequency and go ahead and do a sweep. I knew there was another frequency over here that had a problem. So we can go ahead and probably take another one of these right here. So we could take yellow, like around there. And let's go ahead and sweep there so we can find it, the exact frequency we need.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice.
All right, so I think that's kind of the area we want to take it out. So remember, we just took it out, not too much, but enough to clean up the vocals. So let me show you what it sounds like before and after so far with just these 3 simple moves on the EQ.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I reckon. And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I reckon. And
intense. The difference is intense, bro. Like it's crazy how how much it changes the sound. Like I still get amazed by this every single day. So next thing, I'm gonna do the same thing in these frequencies. It doesn't have to be all of them. It only has to be the problem frequencies. You don't have to remove everything. If not, you have no vocal, you know? So from there, we're going to go ahead and there are some problem frequencies I'm aware of in the upper mids, and we'll keep going from there. So let's do it. So let's start here.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I reckon. And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options.
I think in that 750 was actually the sweet spot.
And I remember when I started.
So we're this one we're not gonna have to take out too much. mainly because it's part of the fundamental of his voice. So we want to make sure that we keep that tone that he delivered in his take. You can also notice that he does have room noise in his vocal. That's okay. There's always plugins that are advancing more and more that we can remove that room noise. So not a major issue if you're recording at home, you don't have sound treatment. There's always solutions, okay? And they're not that expensive, okay? Just keep that in mind. All right, so let's go ahead. I believe the Logic stock plugin for EQ kind of tells you all the problem frequencies. It's kind of crazy. It kind of tells you the answers, you know? So watch. If I go ahead and raise this and let's sharpen it real quick, I bet you $5 is going to be a problem frequency.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I reckon. And I remember when I started,
Yeah, so clearly that's a problem frequency. We're going to go ahead and duck that out. Probably like 3 dB or something like that.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I...
So in the highs, this is where people like to bring it up because it brings air to the vocal. So it kind of like accentuates the highs. That way it cuts through the music more and you can hear the vocals better. So that's the concept of that. I don't really see the need to always do that, but we can do it for this demonstration, okay?
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what...
You know what? It kind of made it sound better, so I'm going to leave it. You don't have to do it at 7,500. You can do it at a little higher. You can do it a little lower. Up to you. All taste. This is all free ball game. There's no rules in this bitch, but there are rules. Just like life. Okay, so what's next? We're going to go ahead and hear the difference right now with the EQ and without. And then we're going to hear it with the music in context, okay?
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I reckon. And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I reckon.
And there you have it. So let me go ahead and play it with the music so you can hear with and without, okay?
And I remember...
First, without, sorry.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I reckon. And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I reckon. And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete.
I don't know, to me, it sounds a lot cleaner, a lot clearer. You can hear what he's saying, but that is not the final step. And I will show you that in my next video. So, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, give me a sub. I would appreciate it. I do have one more video for today. If you want to check it out, go ahead and click on this video right here. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.
And I remember when I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure. When I started, I couldn't really see where I wanted to be. Now many options in my path, but I felt incomplete. It's almost like God wanted to check what I will pick and make the right choice, making sure I recognize it.